So, at our last board meeting, one of the topics that came up was what percentage of time should you spend in your business focusing on this month and hitting our plan and hitting our numbers and keeping the business operationally sound versus what percentage of time should you spend on the future, on investing in things that may not pay off for months or years, on innovation, on research and development. And so every business has this split of work that needs to be done to succeed in the now. And then there's also work that needs to be done to hit your future plans and in order to succeed in the future. And where I think a lot of big brands suffer, if you look at some of the biggest companies over time that have had these moments where they've been disrupted and become taken over, where Google took over Yahoo, or where different companies just kind of ceased to exist or become important, where Kodak kind of fell out. These things happen, I think, because people were not spending enough time on that future oriented work. And so how do you know what's the right mix in your business? Well, that's the exact topic that I presented to our board on in Q2 just a few months ago. And so I wanted to share how our board framed this because I think the discussion, the exercises, and the takeaways that followed would be really useful for your business. First of all, I presented this discussion and I said, how many people should be focused on hitting our plan for today versus the future? And one of our board members shared this amazing analogy about paying rent. And so think about your personal budget. When you're budgeting, you've got some of those expenses like rent that are just kind of non-negotiables. Maybe your car payment and maybe buying food. Like these are the things that you need to do in order to survive. And then there's all of the other discretionary stuff in your budget that goes toward eating out and entertainment, going to games, going to the movies, buying clothes, buying things on Amazon Prime like I do way too many times per day. That stuff is all more discretionary. And so the example, the analogy that they said is paying rent, that is your current plan. That is making payroll. That is hitting your budget, hitting your forecast, keeping the business healthy. But then everything else that you decide to allocate your resources toward, that's for the future. That's the investments in either the culture you want to build or the business that you want to have in the future that you need to be investing in today. And I thought it was such a clean, easy analogy. So headed into our strategic planning, which we do every quarter, we had the whole team in Park City, Utah. We did this big team retreat and we followed it up with a 3-day quarterly planning exercise. And we can link to that in the show notes. I've talked about this before, our cadence of having this strategic planning sessions. So every quarter we've got this 3-day planning session. And one of the activities that I teed up was a exercise to go through our entire org chart and understand person by person, department by department, who is focused on today versus tomorrow. A really simple exercise. And so I explained it to the team. We divided and conquered and took a few minutes to go through and understand all of the people in each of our departments, which people are servicing customers to make the money we need today versus which people are investments in the future. Which ones are working on innovation, are working on R&D, are being proactive and thinking about where the business needs to be next quarter, end of this year, next year. And so all of our teams went through and did this exercise and we went around the table and shared. And some people, as they were sharing, reflected that, wow, we need to be spending more time on tomorrow. Or, wow, we're spending a lot on tomorrow, but we're underperforming in this specific area. And so the takeaway here is by doing this simple exercise and understanding which people are focused on today versus tomorrow, you can have some really clear action items, person by person, to say, how do we get you a little bit out of the weeds? How do we make sure that you're focusing on tomorrow? How do we support you with more resources? Maybe different software tools. Maybe we need another hire. Maybe we could bring in someone more junior. Maybe we could start an internship program. Whatever it is, how do we supplement those people to get the things done that need to happen today in order to pay rent, as my investor said? And then how do you allocate other people to make sure your business is investing enough time in the future? So I hope this is a good exercise for you. And I'm curious to know in your businesses, what's the split like? Is it 80-20? Is it 50-50? Is it 60-40? Comment, send me a message on Instagram, on LinkedIn. Let me know, what are you investing in the future of your business?